All right, let's get this party started. I hope you already have your notepad. You have everything you're going to use to take some notes because we're about to get started right now. Okay. All right, so today's topic, the 9-figure internet business blueprint. How to take yourself from where you are today to a point where you have built for yourself a 9-figure internet marketing business. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to be sharing with you here tonight, many of these things I have never shared before. And even the ones I have shared before, I have never shared in the dimension that I'm going to be explaining them here today. So I endure you or encourage you to pay very close attention. All right. So first things first. First things first. I'm going to set the expectation so that you know exactly how this session is going to go. What are we going to cover during this session? Number one, we're going to cover the foundations, right? What are some of the things that must be addressed before you can be able to build for yourself a multiple 9-figure internet business or a 9-figure internet marketing business? How many of us here would like to be able to build for yourself in 2025 and beyond a 9-figure internet marketing business? Can you type 9-figure in the comments? Give me the words 9-figure in the comments. Most people are going to type 9-figure right now. And it's majorly because of the fact that the average internet marketer is struggling. Most people I come across on the internet, on social media, they're usually at a place where they are struggling to get results. Yes, I can see the comments coming in. So most people are at a place right now where they want to be able to figure out how to move beyond the place of struggle to a place where they are able to get predictable and consistent results. And not just that, but be able to get those results to scale towards a 9-figure internet marketing business. By the grace of God, I have been able to build myself a multiple 9-figure internet business. I usually don't like to put out my numbers nowadays, but I can tell you that I have cracked the code for what it takes to build a sustainable business on the internet today. So we're going to start off with the foundations. What are some of the things that must be addressed before you can build for yourself a multiple 9-figure internet business? And then from there, we're going to move towards the 3 moving parts. We will now talk about the 3 moving parts that are required in order for you to build a 9-figure internet marketing business by selling just one product. You have only one product. That's all you need, by the way, just so you know. Right? So if you are ready, type ready in the comments. Let's get right into it. We have a lot of things to cover, so there's no time to do extra introductions. Okay? So starting off with foundations, right? Starting off with foundations. Most people right now are at a place where I like to describe it as Hell Island. Hell Island is that place that represents where you are trying to escape from. And Heaven Island is where you're trying to go. Heaven Island is the place where you want to be. It's your destination. Heaven Island for some people is their first 100 million naira. Heaven Island for some people is their first 10 million. Excuse me, as the case may be. Right? But the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be in the next 1 year or even 3 to 5 years, it all comes down to some of the things that I'm going to be explaining to you right now. Right? The things that must be addressed first, without which you will not be able to build yourself a 9-figure internet business, even if I share with you copy and paste strategies, give you all the best tactics, give you the systems and so on and so forth. I can give you all those things, but it's still not going to help you to create the results. as long as you don't address these things first. So what are these things that I'm referring to? What are these things that need to be addressed before you can build yourself a 9-figure internet business? And you know, very interestingly, these things have absolutely nothing to do with strategy. I mean, they have more to do with the things you cannot see than the things that you can see. Interestingly, when you see many people who have achieved some level of success, especially online, you're going to find out that they usually end up saying that same thing. They always say that thing, and most people will be revolting. Many people revolt when they hear that thing. Somebody tells you that you need to address some internal factors if you are going to be able to build your business to a point where you can say, yes, I am now financially free. You need to be working on some internal factors first and all of that. It doesn't make sense to most people to fly over their head, because that's not what they're looking for. Most people are not looking for that. Most people are just looking for a push button solution. They just want Panadol. Give me Panadol so that when I take it, I'll not have a headache again. That's what the average person is looking for. But interestingly, I found out that there are 4 internal factors that must be addressed if you want to build yourself an internet marketing business to 9 figures. Someone says they can't hear anything. Please, can you guys let me know in the comments? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a sign. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay? Because I've been seeing the feedback. So yeah. So Faith can hear me. Okay. Okay. Who else can hear me? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you. So 4 factors. All right. 4 internal factors that must be addressed if you want to build yourself a 9-figure internet business. Number one factor, and I'm going to share a story so that it can make sense to you before I tell you what it is. I'm going to share a story. So many of you guys know, I started internet marketing in 2019, right? That was 1 year after I lost my 9-to-5 job. Now, when I got into internet marketing, it was on a day, I remember the day, it was like yesterday. I saw a Facebook ad, and this lady, let me not mention her name, but this lady was advertising a product that teaches you how to start an affiliate marketing business. So when I saw the sales process, I jumped straight into the sales process. I was super interested because I wanted to know, what exactly was that thing that she was talking about. So I clicked through, I entered into the funnel, I, paid immediately. I got the opportunity to pay. I paid immediately. I didn't need anybody to convince me whether it was a good idea to pay or not. So immediately I was given the opportunity to pay. I paid on the spot. And after I paid, you guys know now, you know how the story goes. When you pay for something and in your mind, you're like, this is the key to the kingdom. Once I buy this one now, that's all. My life is made. Everything done set. And then at the end of the day, 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months goes by, and there's still no Lamborghini parked in your garage. You now begin to think like, this is what I signed up for in the first place, right? So that's exactly what happened for me. After buying the product, in my mind, I thought that I was going to get a Lamborghini in 3 months. At least 3 months, I must buy Lamborghini. So I'm 6 months reached though. I had not made one sale yet. I had not made a sale. By the end of the 6th month, that was going into the 7th month, I got an opportunity to make a sale. So that was when my neighbor's daughter was about to write the IELTS exam. So I went to her house that evening. So when I got to her house that evening, me and her were just chatting. So I thought, I say, it's your daughter that wants to write IELTS exam now. Would she buy a course that will help her to pass the exam? There's one course that I would just recommend for you now. Once she buys that course, forget it. She will get band 8 or band 9. Guaranteed. Look at now. See people that have used the course. They have got the result. Come and see me. I was selling the hell out of that thing because I need to make sale. So after I finished pitching it to her, she agreed. So she wanted to buy. And I thought that she should buy for her son too, because maybe the son too would. Imagine. I went and sold one course to the same person twice. just because I wanted to make a sale. I'm not proud of that moment, Sha. Because she could have just bought one now, and the daughter and the son would have used the same course. But I went to go and sell her two. So that's how I made my first two sales. And that got me 12,000 naira in commissions. That's how I made my first 12,000 actually. And after those two sales came in, Faith, you are very right. It was actually 100% because of desperation that happened. So after those two sales came in, month number 8 passed, month number 9, month number 10, 11. By the time we got to 11, I was still on two sales. So one extra sale had not come in yet. So in my mind, I'm like, no, this is not what I signed up for. Something needs to change. I mean, I'm looking at people in the same space. I'm looking at people in the communities where I was a part of, and people were dropping crazy numbers every week. Like I had people dropping as much as like 500K, 500,000 naira at the end in a week. And this was in 2020, right? Mind you, 500,000 naira of 2020 is not the same as 500,000 naira of today. You guys know what I'm talking about. 500K of 2020 is like 2 million or 2.5 million of today. And all of these people were making such money in 1 week, So I look at them and I'm like, these people, they don't have two heads. You know what I mean? These people don't have two heads. I need something different. And I started asking questions. And I started asking myself now. I'm not talking about the people who I was looking at. So I started asking questions, right? So, by the way, those of us who are having difficulties with hearing me, I don't know why that's happening. Maybe you need to rejoin, get out and get back in. Maybe that's the solution. Okay. So, as I was saying, so I started asking myself questions. Why is it that these people are getting really great results, but I'm not even getting any result at all? Like, yours is really great. Mine is really terrible. It's like extremes. Really good, really bad. Why is it like that? What's going on? Why is it that I am not getting results in my business? So the question was not that does it work or not, because obviously it works. There were people who were getting solid results, right? There were people who were getting really great results. So it wasn't necessarily a question of does it work or does it not work? Yes, 100%, it was working. There were people who were getting results. So I now started asking myself, what exactly is it that I need to change? Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to change? Right? Now, in the process of asking this question, I realized something, that I had a certain behavior, that every time I see people that was there, every time I saw people that come on those communities to come and share, some kind of like testimony, somebody comes to share their win. Hey, I just made so and so amount of money in a week, or I just made so and so amount of money in a month, or whatever time frame. There's just one feeling I get on the inside that makes me feel like, why, like, what is so special about this person, right? What is so special about this person that the person is the one getting all the results? What's so special about, why is it the person that is getting the result? Why not me? Do you understand? Like, why not me? Okay. By the way, it's very possible that these people are not yet inside this session. The people who are having issues with audio, it's very possible they are not even inside the call right now. So ask them whether they have joined the call first. Anybody who has joined this call should be hearing me loud and clear, unless the person has network issues. So please let them know, okay? So as I was saying, so what was even the last train of thoughts? See now, you guys, your distraction is now making me to lose my train of thought. So anyways, I realized that I used to have that feeling every time I saw people who were getting results. And not just that, I would also try to downplay the authenticity of the results that they were getting. Like, I would try to downplay the authenticity of the results. And you hear me saying things like, this person is getting this result because he's good at ABC, or he's getting this result because he has an audience, or share something. I will just come up with something, that the person has that I don't have, as if to say that success is scarce. Stay with me. So little did I know that part of the reason why the results I was looking for, even though I was putting in so much effort, part of the reason why the results I was looking for was looking like it was far from me was because I was trying to attract the thing that I was trying to attract. It was there and then that I realized that you cannot attract something that you are trying to attack all the time, especially when that thing is something that is good for you and your business. Whenever you're attacking something that you're trying to attract, it's like you fighting against yourself. So your hand is trying to get something, but your mind is fighting against it. That's what I was doing without knowing. And when I realized this, and by the way, the simple solution for this is, it's obvious. You shouldn't be attacking something that you are trying to attract to yourself. So instead of doing that, you should be celebrating it. You should be celebrating it. You see somebody who is really getting great results in your business line, the person is sharing their wins on the community. If you know you don't want to learn from the person, it is better you don't even say anything at all than you try to downplay that person's results or the authenticity of that person's results. I had a guy I remember the first time I did $4,000 in a week, and I shared it on one community I was on. That was 2021. Yes, 2021. So I shared the results on the group. There was a community I was a part of then. So I shared the results on the group, told my story, and, dropped my vote of thanks and stuff, So after I dropped it, next thing I know, this guy comes out of nowhere, and he goes in the comments. He goes in the comments and he's saying that I need to stop deceiving people. I'm trying to remember his words, but the word he used was something like, I need to stop deceiving people, that we will never tell people the truth about these things. We cannot tell them how hard it is to get this. That we always share it as if it's so easy. This is me. I'm just coming to give a testimony. I'm happy that I've crossed my first milestone of 4K in a week. It's not that deep. I'm not the source of your problem. And so I tried not to respond. Like, I tried so hard not to respond to him, but I did. I didn't try to insult him or anything. So what I told him was that this is you here trying to attack something that you are trying to attract. You are fighting against yourself, not me. Like, there's nothing you will say in this comment section right now that can reduce my results. I'm already there. I have grown, and growth sustains itself. So there's hardly anything he can say to me that will affect me and my results. The thing only affects him and his results. So I hope someone caught what I just shared. So that was one of the first internal things. So we're talking about the internal factors now. So that was one of the first internal things that I discovered. The second internal thing that I discovered was that there were certain beliefs I used to have about business. For example, I used to think that people don't have money to buy what I'm selling. Many of us who have been beaten and battered and bamboozled, and I don't know what word to use, that have been affected by the T-Pain economy. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there are many of us here right now who you feel like people don't have money to buy what you're selling. Drop a comment. Share in the comments. Let me know if that's you. It's okay if that's you, by the way. It's nothing wrong there. Most people who have been beaten and battered by the T-Pain economy believe that people don't have money to buy what you're selling. But then I look at people who say things like this, and I'm asking myself, is it the same economy? Are we in the same economy? Are we in the same economy? Because in that same economy where people say everybody is broke, people don't have money to buy what I'm selling. So, and you know what's dangerous about these voices that you have in your head and these beliefs is that it affects your actions. It affects how you price your products. So you will not want to price your product above a certain threshold, because you believe that people don't have money to buy it. Yes. You say people don't have money to buy it. So you now find yourself always trying to price your product as low as possible, trying to go lower. You think that going lower is a strategy. Excuse me. You think that going lower is a strategy that you can win, or it's a game that you can win. Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because in the same world where you believe that people don't have money to buy what you're selling, rich people are still buying a lot of things. Rich people are still using money in exchange for their problems. I mean, in exchange for solutions to their problems. In 2024, one of the interesting things we did was we co-founded an agency, myself and my friend. We co-founded an agency that serves high net worth individuals. Keyword, high net worth individuals. And now, this has nothing to do with the fact that I have achieved some level of success in my business, right? Has absolutely nothing to do. In fact, my face is not even on the company my face is not even in the forefront. I am not the forerunner. My friend, the co-founder, is in front of everything. I'm only the brains. He's the muscle. Yet somehow, in the same T-Pain economy, we're able to create and launch an agency that serves high net worth individuals and helps them to build and position their personal brand. So much that they are paying as high as 10 million naira for 3 months of that service. 10 million for 3 months. One client every year will pay us 40 million. One client. With 10 clients, we're doing 400 million a year in the same economy. So what does that tell you? What it tells you is that it is not about how much money people have to spend. It's about who you are selling, what you are selling to. And I'm going to expatiate on this as time goes on. Okay? I'm going to expatiate on it as time goes on. Who you sell to determines how much you make. I'm telling you. Who you sell to determines how much you make. So if you think that people don't have enough money to buy what you're selling, and just so you know, there is something called scarcity beliefs. In other words, scarcity mindsets that make you think that there is not enough of something. Whenever you think that there's a shortage, there is not enough supply of anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Insufficient supply of customers, insufficient supply of results, insufficient supply of what else again? Of love. In some people's life, they don't have love. They think that love is very scarce. Love is a scam. And so many other crazy things. But whenever you think that there is an insufficient supply of anything, that is a manifestation of scarcity. And you know what's very interesting about manifesting scarcity? Whenever you're manifesting scarcity, lack increases in your life. You have lack of results. You have lack of clarity. You have lack of direction. You have lack of money, lack of health, lack of, which other one again? Lack of good relationships. Lack just keeps expanding in your life. Lack keeps expanding. And that's by virtue of the fact that you keep manifesting scarcity every single time. Somebody says, something needs to happen before I will be happy. Something needs to happen before I will be successful. I talked about this yesterday, you guys who were here. I talked about this, right? That businesses don't fail, people do. And businesses don't succeed, people do. Businesses don't fail, people do. And businesses don't succeed, people do. So in your mind, you think that you need to build a successful business before you can be successful. Wrong. You need to become successful at an individual level. I'm going to explain how you can do that before you can build a successful business. So successful businesses are built by successful people, not the other way around. That's why you hear that businesses don't succeed, people do, and vice versa. So every time you approach things from a mental space of scarcity, you are only going to experience lack. You are only going to increase lack. When you're going into a conversation and you're expecting a no from the prospect, whatever happens is only going to be a prophecy fulfilled, because you are the prophet here. You are the prophet here. It's only going to be a prophecy fulfilled, because at the end of the day, you were the one who prophesied that you were going to get no results. You were the one who was prophesying to yourself on a mental level that the person was going to tell you no, they were not going to get the sale. Whereas what you do not know is that there is an invisible force of favor that drives men to say yes to you. Who can relate? Type favor in the chat. There is actually an invisible force of favor that drives men to say yes to you. There's an invisible force of favor that drives men to remember you for good. How many of you have experienced something that somebody from somewhere, you didn't even expect that you were going to hear it from the person ever again? The person just picks their phone, calls you, and then before the end of the call, the person says, give me your account number. The person collects your account number, sends you money, blam, just like that. And you think it was luck? Some people are not paying attention. You think it was luck? So there's an invisible force of favor that drives men to do good things for you. There's an invisible force of favor that drives men to remember you for good. Another way that many of us manifest this scarcity that I'm talking about in our business. By the way, for those who are just joining us, we are talking about foundations. Without the right foundation, you can never build a skyscraper. What you're trying to build is a 9-figure business. Great. But before you can build a 9-figure business, you need the right foundations. And that's why we're talking about foundations now. And as far as foundations are concerned, I am currently talking about the internal factors that must be addressed. And we're talking now about scarcity beliefs. They have to be addressed. You don't delete them from your head, though, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to do to them, right? So you don't delete them. So scarcity beliefs. It is also because of scarcity that you see somebody who says that their market is, in quote, saturated. Now, this does not dispute the fact that there are saturated markets, but the fact that a market is saturated is supposed to be a good thing, not a bad thing. If someone says the market is saturated, every time I hear people say the market is saturated, it's always because of some kind of, to justify some level of lack of results. People who say that a lot, they usually say it because they are trying to justify their inability to get results. So somebody says, my results has not come yet. I'm not making sales because the top guys are making all the sales. The market is saturated. And all kinds of crazy excuses. All kinds of crazy excuses. See, let me share something with you. Yes, there are markets that are saturated. But I have never seen a market that was saturated at the top. I have searched, trust me. I have checked. Even till today, to this moment in time, I have never seen a market that is saturated at the top. Till this moment in time. The problem is, many people want to get top level results at the bottom. The reason why you see somebody who is complaining about saturation all day, every day, and not doing anything about it is because he or she wants to get top level results at the bottom. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. There was this lady who came in to my DM in 2023. And we got on a call. She paid for a consultation. We got on the call. During the call, she told me that one of the reasons why she has not been getting results in her business is because of the fact that her market is saturated. Saturated, you say? And then I asked her, I said, why do you think it's saturated? And then she says, so many people are already doing it already. I feel like the fact that I'm doing it now, I cannot even get results because everybody is doing it already. Those were her words. Those were her words. She said, everybody is doing it already. So she was trying to tell me that the reason why she's not getting results is because everybody's doing what she's doing. Like, how does that stop you from getting results? Every time I see a saturated market, I see a place that has a saturation of customers. I see a place that has a saturation of customers. You see, the reason why many people are so much, consumed at the state of saturation of many markets is because of the fact that they are not good. You hardly see somebody who is good, like somebody who is good at what they do, complaining about saturation. So that lady, when she came in, I gave her a, what will I call it now? Is it proverb, or I shall painted a scenario for her. And I told her, I said, imagine you are in a forest. In that forest that is full of zebras and antelopes, if you are a lion, is that not an advantage? In a forest that is full of zebras and antelopes, if you are a lion, is that not an advantage? And then she paused and she listened and she's like, yes, it is an advantage. Then I now asked her, I said, so if it's an advantage, why are you complaining that there are too many zebras and antelopes? There is more food for you to eat. There's more food for you to eat. So it shouldn't be an issue. And then she said, wow, but she never ever saw it that way. And I said, there you have it. Now you see. Now you see that in order for you to beat a saturated market, in order for you to succeed despite the saturation of certain markets, you need to get good at what you do. It's that simple. You need to get good at what you do. I say that again. You need to get good at what you do. And in order for you to get good at what you do, you need skills. You need skills. For every industry, there's what we call a set of relevant skills that when you have them, it allows you to get results on demand. Take, for example, most of us here, you're internet marketers, you have some kind of internet marketing business. By the way, let me know in the chat, what exactly is the nature of your internet marketing business? Tell me what is the nature of your internet marketing business? When you take a very close look at different niches, you find out that even in the most bizarre niches, and I can't think of anyone right now, but even in the most bizarre niches, you still need a relevant set of skills, like a set of relevant skills that gives you the edge over other people. You need to get good at what you do. We have network marketers. We have affiliate marketers. Who else? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. Who else? We have affiliate marketing. Okay. So you need to get those relevant skills in order for you to get good at what you do. And you know what's very interesting? What's interesting is the fact that the moment you get good at what you do, it puts you at the level of top 15%. Once you get good at what you do, it puts you at top 15% in your industry. It puts you at top 15%. And you know what's interesting too? When you now decide that you want to go beyond just good, because there are people who have been able to break beyond good, there are people who have been able to break past good. For them, good is not even enough. I'm one of those people, by the way. There are people who have been able to break past good. So for you to break past that top 15%, you're going to require some things that I'm going to be sharing with you before the end of this session. Make sure you don't go anywhere. I'm going to share those things with you. So moving on to the next thing, right? Because of time, there are many other internal factors to address, especially as it relates with the mind. But those are the few I can discuss for now, for the sake of time. We have quite a lot of things to cover here today. But before I move to the next thing, I talked about scarcity. But I didn't share with you what you need to do. Thank you, Faith. Thank you for that. I didn't share with you what you need to do to overcome scarcity permanently, to move away from scarcity and move towards abundance. What you need to do to increase abundance in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your health, in your wealth, and so on and so forth. Right? There's a remote control somewhere here. I like to give this illustration a lot because it's the best way I can explain this to you. This is a remote control. It's for my lights here. I don't know if it still works, but it's for my lights here. Let's assume that this remote control is for a TV, a smart TV, right? Now, I'm trying to explain to you how to increase abundance in your life. I wish you would take this seriously. I can only wish. It's up to you. Now, this remote has Netflix button on it. It has Amazon Prime button on it, even though it doesn't, but let's just say it does. So it has Amazon Prime button on it. Maybe it also has Disney Plus, right? Now, if I press Netflix on this remote and I point it at the TV, right? The TV is on. I press Netflix. What's going to happen? Somebody tell me in the chat. What is going to happen is that immediately you are going to see Netflix. Netflix is going to start showing right in front of you. And the reason why that happens is because that is what manifests at that frequency. So that is exactly, Netflix is going to come up. So that's what happens when you press that button, it begins to manifest Netflix. That's what manifests at that frequency, right? Now, think of that as how we increase lack or abundance in our lives. Depends on which one you press. Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime is lack. Netflix is abundance. So if you want more lack, press Prime. If you want more abundance, press Netflix. And you start watching abundance play out right in front of you. If you press Prime, you will start seeing lack play out in front of you. So the question now becomes, what are the buttons to press? What are the buttons to press? Because it is only the people who are termed lucky are the ones who press these buttons regularly. It is part of their daily life routine to press these buttons. When they press these buttons, they begin to experience more abundance in their lives. And before you know it, they gain control over the invisible force of favor that drives men to do good things for them, drives men to say yes to them, drives men to remember them for good. And then you see this person and you say they're lucky. That's okay. So what I'm sharing with you is how to engineer luck. You can call it luck engineering 101. That's what I'm sharing with you right now. Now, one of the buttons that you can press to tune to that channel called abundance is joy. One of the buttons, and I say this with all certainty, now one of the strongest buttons you can press to increase abundance in your life is joy. And you know why? I'm going to quote scripture here. I am unapologetically close to God. I'm going to quote scripture here and share something with you. There's a scripture that says, with joy, right? With joy shall men draw. Hold on. With joy. There we go. Isaiah 12 verse 3. With joy shall you draw water from the wells of salvation. Let us dissect this statement for a second. With joy shall you draw out of the well of salvation. What does that mean? What it means is that joy is a fetcher. Every time something is about to happen, there's someone here right now. I'm directly speaking to you about this. You know what I'm talking about. So every time something is about to happen, this usually happens when something is about to happen. Just when it's about to happen, something else happens, right? Something else happens. And that thing that happens somehow steals your joy by forcing you, compelling you to react. So, like, something just happens, it just makes you react. You are angry, so angry. In fact, some of us, when you express that anger, you are so angry, so pissed off that you don't even realize when you begin to do things that you don't do on a normal day. So much that you will not even begin to ask yourself that, is it me that did that? Like, I'm not normally this kind of angry person. Why did I get angry like this? Without you knowing that in that moment of reaction, you can't feel joy and anger at the same time. In that moment of reaction, you lost your fetcher. And that thing that you were supposed to fetch with joy has gone far from you. That's the reason why, if you want something to happen for you, right, you don't wait until it happens before you express the joy. You express the joy so that the thing happens, because that is by nature what joy does. It fetches things. Okay, I hope some people will get this shot, but let's continue. So you have to become very, very careful of things like this. When you are expecting something is about to happen for you. It is usually when that thing is about to happen, that is when something else tries to steal your joy. So what you need to start doing from here on out is to protect your joy, because it's only through that you can fetch that which you are already heading towards. Many of us who experience near success syndrome, it is only by virtue of the fact that when you are just close to the finish line, you get triggered. And for some of us, those things that trigger you is inside your house. It's some of us, it sleeps on your bed. Not it. It's not an it. It's a he or a she for someone here. For he is a he or a she. That person triggers you. And the moment the person triggers you, you react. You've thrown your fetcher out of the window. And that's how you miss that. There's so many opportunities. See, there's someone here who has gotten a contract before. That's, you were already there. You knew that you already had that contract. So much like you already knew that you had the contract, right? Please excuse me 1 second. You already knew that you had the contract, but instead of, it's because you didn't know Sha. So instead of you to protect your joy, you allowed something else to steal it. And when that happened, for a contract that you already knew you had, in fact, you had probably already signed some contract documents, or maybe you already sent the contract documents to the person who was supposed to give you the contract. And just like that, the person ghosted you. It doesn't speak to you anymore. It's not like you are not an enemy. You are not an enemy, sir. Y'all need to understand this thing. Business is a spiritual game. You're not an enemy. You just threw your fetcher away. Even the person that is avoiding you doesn't even know why he's avoiding you. It's crazy. So joy is a fetcher. If you know how powerful joy is in your life, you will protect it with everything. I have people who have asked me times without number, like, how are you able to stay consistent on this energy level? Like, people who have followed me since 2020, they've never seen me below the energy level that I used to show up with. Same time, same energy all day, every day. It's because joy is a fetcher. Take that down. The second button to press. I'm giving you button number 1. Button number 1 is what? Type it in the comments. Now, button number 2. Button number 2 that you can press is the button called gratitude. Joy is a fetcher. Gratitude is a multiplier. Anything that you apply gratitude to multiplies. When you apply gratitude in your relationships, for example, You appreciate those people who are close to you. You tell them you love them for the virtue of the things that they do and the value that they bring into your life. When you apply gratitude, the quality of that relationship improves. Therefore, you are multiplying the goodness in your relationship. When you apply gratitude, God gives you something. God grants you, God grants you favor, God grants you financial increase. When things like that happen, you show your gratitude by giving back. You show your gratitude by offering God something for that which He has given you. It's a multiplier. Somebody says joy is their new crush. If these are the only two things you are able to pick from here and you start running with, that joy is a fetcher and gratitude is a multiplier, you're already ahead of so many other people. Somebody does a favor for you. There's somebody here. You're already used to people doing things for you. So now, when somebody gives you 500,000 naira, you give them 5,000 naira, thank you. Sometimes the thank you will even give, the thank you will even give is not even, that's this one, the thank you cannot even buy a recharge card. And if you can do that for like normal human being, imagine if you can do that for normal human being, let alone God. It's crazy. So joy is a fetcher and gratitude is a multiplier. Now, another button you can press, I'll give you 4 before I move on. Another button you can press is the button called love. Love increases abundance in your relationships, right? Love increases abundance in your relationship. Whenever you express love, whenever you show love, you are increasing abundance in your relationships. The people you care about, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those who you care about, your family members, your friends, and the rest of them, whenever you show them love, what happens? You begin to experience higher levels of connection in that relationship, right? Deeper levels of connection. It increases abundance in your relationships. Another one is empathy. Empathy is a very strong button that increases abundance in your relationship too. Empathy, your ability to put yourself in other shoes, to feel what they feel and to see what they see. Empathy. A salesman or a saleswoman that has empathy will be able to make more money. Why? Because only somebody who has empathy can make people feel understood. It is only by virtue of your ability to communicate that you understand, that is, your ability to communicate that you can feel someone's pain, you see what they see, and you feel what they feel. It is only by virtue of that that you'll be able to make them feel understood. And guess what? One of the greatest human needs is the need to be understood. If you can make someone feel understood, you can easily get them to buy whatever it is that you are selling, especially if you can tie that to what they want. More on that later. Okay. So how many people are following? Type the word following in the chat. So go to the channel. Go to the channel. There's a message in the channel. That's where you can drop a comment. So drop a comment there and type the word following if you are currently following. Okay. Awesome. So those are some of the buttons that you can use. And I tell you, these things are working. See, these things, don't do it because I told you. Just try it. Try it. But as you try it, make sure there's no doubt in your heart, right? Make sure there's no doubt, because if you doubt it, then you might as well not even waste your time. Okay? Because this one does not have proofs. There's no tangible, there's no documented evidence that these things, you understand? These are, I don't want to say what will fly over someone's head, but these things, there's a difference between what is true and what is the truth. Maybe we should not go there. So we are still talking about internal factors We're still talking about internal factors, and now we are zooming in on the aspects that have to do with the mind, right? Before I leave abundance as a concept, I hope you guys are seeing something different now. Many of us now, we're now seeing abundance as a different concept entirely. Now you are seeing it as something that's within your reach, something that's within your grasp, something that's as easy as a push of a button, because I've given you some of the buttons to press, right? Yes. Somebody tells me, people don't have money to buy what I'm selling. People, customers are scarce. Customers are scarce. Sales are scarce. This one is scarce. Everything is scarce. Everything is scarce. And I tell the person, there are over 8 billion people. There are over 8 billion people on earth. Is it really that difficult to find 1,000 people who will pay you $1,000? Who will pay you even, let's say, $100? Yeah, let's say 100. Is it really that difficult to find 1,000 in 8 billion who will pay you $100 each? And that's how you make your first $100,000. Money is the easiest thing you can make. Quote me anywhere. I'll prove it to you guys. Don't worry. Show you on Internet Business School. I'll show you something here. You've never seen it before. Money is the easiest thing you can make. Value is the hardest thing you can create. That's why people think making money is hard. And the reason why value is the hardest thing that people can create is because they don't understand what value means. They don't know what value truly means. If I ask you now, if I say you should go to the comments and tell me what is value, it's only those who have heard me teach about it that they will know what it means. Everybody else who have not heard me teach about value, most people don't know what value really means. Most people don't know what value really means. And if you don't know what something is, how can you truly say that you are providing it? Can you provide that which you do not know? Interesting, right? Money is the easiest thing you can make. Value is the hardest thing you can create. But if you understand what value is, then value becomes easy for you to create anytime you enter into a room. If you know what value really means, you will know you will know how to fit it in every context you find yourself. Many of us here, we have different expressions of our value. Some of us can sing. That's the same you, just you. Some of us can sing, you can dance, you can run ads, you can design graphics, you can, which other one again? You can host events, you can do content and what do you call it? Coverage, video coverage. We have different expressions of our value. But because of the fact that we do not understand what value truly means, we now find ourselves stuck in a loop whereby we are hawking that which makes us valuable, and you are hawking it to anybody who has an ear. So you tell them, in case you know anybody that wants to do graphics, I can do graphics for you. In case you know anybody that wants to do wedding, I sing. You can invite me to sing. In case you when I see these things, I just shake my head. You know what value truly means. You will know where your value is needed and where it's not. And you will know what kind of value, what dimension or what expression of your value fits into a particular context. I remember when I was invited to Nas Daly's house. You guys know Nas Daly, right? 60 million followers on social media. That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow, right? And don't worry, I'm going to tell you what value means. I love the definitions I'm seeing in the comments. Thank you for those. So Nas Daly invites me to his house. It's about 20, 25-ish people that were invited for that. I was the only black guy there. And then before we went into breakout sessions, Mr. Precious, you are a suspect. See the way I'm looking at you? You are a suspect. I can see you from one of my old sessions. Okay, so it was almost time for breakout session. So he was passing the mic around. By the way, breakout is where it's like all of us are here now, right? We're here, we're in one room together, and when it's time for breakout, we separate everybody into smaller groups so that you guys can connect with each other one-on-one. So that's what it means to break out. So before we started breakout, everybody was receiving the mic. So he was passing the mic around. I mean, Nasdali was passing the mic around. So he's like, who are you? 30 seconds, go. Who are you? 30 seconds, go. Who are you? 30 seconds, go. Now, it was almost my turn. Let's just say 2 people before me. And all of a sudden, I felt so much tension. I couldn't explain myself. I felt so much tension because I was asking myself, come on, who am I like this? Like, who am I? You know, I couldn't remember who I was. And I couldn't remember who I was. Please, the person who's having a hard time joining, please, you guys just let him know. I'm going to share the recording on the channel, so he should chill. I will share the recording. He's distracting us with all these comments that he keeps dropping around. Okay, so I now asked myself, like, come on, who am I again? So when it was time for me, it was almost time for me. It was now one person before me. I just heard a very small, still voice inside of me say, you are who you need to be to get the most value out of the room. You are who you need to be to get the most value out of the room. And then the next thing, it was my turn to speak. Who are you? 30 seconds, go. And I knew the place I was. I was aware of the environment where I was. And this is a place where we have some of the biggest, most successful community builders around the world who have built communities, you know, spanning across just about every country in the world that you can think of. So in that moment, I could have introduced myself as, hey, I'm Kenny Nwokoye. I help people build personal brands. Yes, I can do that. That's one of the expressions of my value. I can say, hey, I'm Kenny Nwokoye. I sing. When nobody's looking, I write songs, and I'm quite good at singing and playing the guitar. That's one of the expressions of my value. I can also say, hey, I'm Kenny Nwokoye, and I teach people how to drive traffic to other people's products and make money. That's my ministry, actually. And it's also one of my expressions of value. But for that purpose, in that room, I introduced myself and I said, hello, my name is Kenny Nwokoye, and I have built a couple of communities. I've built 2 communities in the last 3 years, and one of them is a free community with over 23,000 members. The paid community, one of my paid communities I've built has grown to over 8,000 members in the last 3 years. We have members spanning across more than 70 countries as of right now. And I'm currently building my 3rd community on the NAS.io platform. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you. The 30-second thing, right? That was my 30 seconds. But interestingly, those words, those exact words, was what I needed to say to get the most value out of the room. If I did not understand what value meant, I could have introduced myself as an affiliate marketing coach. Or I could have introduced myself as what will I call it now? Personal branding expert, or whatever. I could have introduced myself as something else because I may not have understood what value means. But because I understood what value means, and I'm going to explain that to you here, I was able to introduce myself in the way that got the most value out of the room. So now it begs the question, what is value? What is value? I like to use this illustration to explain what value means. Imagine you are in the Namibian desert. You have been there for 40 days and 40 nights. You have been there for 40 days and 40 nights. Right now, your body is already eating your intestines. At this point, You are about to give up the ghost. If you stay for 60 minutes again, you are gone. At that point, all of a sudden, oh, by the way, before I share what happens all of a sudden, how many of you here think it would be the nicest thing if you could make $1 million in the next, if you could make $1 million in the next 1 year? Give me a show of hands. Just give me a show of hands in the comments. Drop it in the comments. You think it would be nice for you to make like $1 million? That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Give me the comments. Show your hands like this if you think it would be nice for you to make $1 million in the next 1 year. Okay, great. So what about those of us who think it would be a good idea for you to have a Rolls Royce? What do you think? Wouldn't it be nice for you to have a Rolls Royce? Wouldn't it be nice? Type nice in the chat. Type nice. If it would be nice for you, type nice. If you think it would be nice to own a Rolls Royce and $1 million, that'd be crazy, right? Type nice. Yeah, of course. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. But interestingly, right? Remember, you are in the Namibian desert. English is hard. And you have been going for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, at this point, you're about to give up the ghost. You're about to just beme. And all of a sudden, you just see me like this, cruising from maybe the eastern side of the desert. I just cruise down the hill and I come and meet you where you are standing, where you are barely standing. You are about to fall and just leave this world. And then I park beside you with my nice Rolls Royce Phantom 2025. With my nice Rolls Royce Phantom 2025, I park beside you and I help you to get up on your feet and I say, come, you said you want a Rolls Royce, right? Here I am now with a Rolls Royce. Here I am now with a bag. Let's say it's a bag with $1 million inside. I'm right there with you in the Namibian desert with $1 million in a bag and I have a Rolls Royce with me. But in my right hand, I have a tray. It's like a tray of food. And in the tray of food, I have rice and beans with stew and goat meat with a bottle of Eva water, 2 liters. Now you have to choose. Choose between the $1 million and Rolls Royce or choose the tray of food. Which one are you going to take? Between the $1 million plus Rolls Royce or the plate of food. Many of you said you would like to have both of them now. You said the $1 million and the Rolls Royce is something that it would be nice, right? It would be nice to have. Why are you saying tray of food? Don't you want $1 million anymore? $1 million is a lot of money. Why are you saying tray of food? Why? How can you choose are you crazy? How can you choose a tray of food over $1 million and Rolls Royce? How? Interesting. Everybody's saying Rolls Royce. Sorry, everybody's saying tray of food. Tray of food. Excuse me. He said, that's what you need at the moment, right? Okay. So write this down. Value is anything that is most useful. Value is anything that is most useful to a user within a particular context. Now, mark the words most useful and context. Mark the words most useful and context. So value is anything that is most useful to a user within a particular context. That is what value means. Now, also write this down. The need to survive will always be greater than the desire to thrive. The need to survive will always be greater than the desire to thrive. So taking this back to that experience I had when I was asked to introduce myself in 30 seconds. Value was anything that was useful to the users within that context. So I needed to interpret what value would mean to them by virtue of who am I now that will be most valuable to these people. Does it make sense? I hope it does. Okay. So let's move on. We still have quite a lot to cover, okay? But are you getting value so far? Have you found anything useful so far? Have you found anything useful so far in this context? Let me know in the chats. Okay. So now let's move on to the second internal factor. We have a lot to talk about today. Some people are going to be here with me till like 12 a.m. But I'm going to try and make sure that we finish before 12 a.m. because I have something that needs to be done. Okay. So now you know this aspect, right? You know how to move away from scarcity and move towards abundance. You know how to increase abundance in your life now. Maybe later on we can do like a more in-depth session where we dissect abundance, and everything. We'll do that. Might not be today. But another very important internal factor that you need to address, and most people don't do this. And by the way, this is the reason why many people never hit their goals. How many of us here have ever set a goal that you didn't hit? Can you type the word goal in the comments? You have ever set a goal that you did not hit. You could not hit it for one reason or the other. Type the word goal in the chats. Type the word goal in the chats. There is one reason why many people will never ever achieve their goals, and it's what I'm about to share with you right now. Write this down. Your actions do not rise to meet the size of your goals. Your actions do not rise to meet the size of your goals. Your actions shrink to meet the size of your standards. Your actions do not rise to meet the size of your goals or the size of your targets. Your actions shrink to meet the size of your standards. So if you have low standards, your goals don't matter. No matter how big they are, your targets don't matter. No matter how big they are. There are many of us here who every year, we're about to get into a new year in the next less than 48 hours. We're going to be in 2025 and you're going to set goals again. You're going to set targets again, but you will still not be able to hit those targets. But thank God you are here today. But if you were not here today, you would still not be able to hit those targets. And the reason is because of the fact that your actions do not rise to meet your targets. Your actions will shrink to meet your standards. So every time you're trying to set a big goal with a low standard, you're fighting against yourself because you're not going to get the results. You will not get the results because your actions have not been leveled to a point where it matches the frequency that produces the results that you want. So what do I mean? Somebody says he wants to make 10 million naira in a year. And then he goes back to work on his 2,000 naira graphics designs. Is that not the definition of delulu? Is that not the definition of the word delusional? It is, isn't it? He says, I want to do 10 million in a year, but then he goes back to his 2,000 naira graphics design where he's servicing, he's only able to service like 10 clients in a month. 10 clients in a month will give him 20,000 naira per month. At the end of the year, Baba has not even crossed the 200,000 naira mark, let alone 10 million naira in a year. So you see that Yes, he has a big goal. Yes, he has a big target, right? Sorry, not a big goal in this case now, a big target. Yes, he has a big target, but he has extremely low standards for what he considers to be acceptable income for himself. So you can have a lofty target, but your standard for how much you should be making is low. You will continue making small money. Because your standards control your actions. Your standards control your conversations. Your standards control everything in your life. It is by virtue of standards that you are able to build routines. It is by virtue of standards that you are able to build systems. The quality of your systems is directly tied to the level of your standards. So it all ties back to standards. When I realized this thing I'm sharing with you, it was 2020. That was when I realized that no matter how big my goals were, no matter how lofty my targets were, never ever would I be able to achieve them unless I raised my standards. Because I noticed that even though I had these big targets, somebody can just come to me now and the person tells me, Kenny, please, just do this thing for us, do this thing for us. Don't worry, just do it for us. The person, because by virtue of the relationship I have with the person just tells me that I should do it for them. Don't worry. Is that a currency? Please, what currency do they call don't worry? So the person tells me don't worry, and I say, okay, no problem. And I do it with my time. I do it with my energy. I do it with my data. I do it with my resources. And then I send it to them. It costs me about 2 hours to deliver that job. And I do it for them. And the person tells me, thank you. Thank you. Oh, God. The reason why many of us are not able to rise to the level of our goals and targets is because of the low standards that we have. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of standards that you want to raise if you're going to be able to hit your goals and your targets. Okay. Number one, you need to raise your standards for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself and for people around you. I'll say that again. You need to raise your standard for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself and people around you. What does that mean? It means that there are certain behaviors that you have now that you will no longer exhibit by virtue of the goals and the targets that you have set for yourself. You will have to start. See, many of us, we think that getting a particular target is all about what you do to get it. Many of us don't know that sometimes getting to a target requires sacrifice. It is about what you have to stop doing to get it. If you don't stop giving your time and everybody keeps having your time as anyhow, if you don't stop partaking in certain activities, behaving in certain ways, sleeping at a certain time, and see, there's so much that goes into standards, and I really want to break it down so that you can fully understand it. You live here with full understanding, and you can implement it for yourself and change something for yourself. So raise your standard for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself. These are the kind of things I can do. These are the things I will no longer do. I will no longer do. This is how I will be communicating from now on. I will no longer communicate like somebody that does not have a filter in his mouth. I will no longer do that. I will now communicate like someone who is a thought leader. I will now communicate like someone who has authority, that when I speak, men will write. When I speak, people will receive light. So you set a standard for how you behave. You set a standard for, see, some people who know me outside of teaching, which is my ministry. When I remove this eyeglass, remove this headset, I'm a completely different person. There are very few people that know this thing, right? And it's not just me. It's not just me, just so you know. You need to raise your standards for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself and what you consider to be acceptable behavior for people around you. Now, let's zoom in a little bit on the aspect of people around you. An example of a high standard for people's behavior around you. If I have a meeting with you, my meeting with you is supposed to be for 9 a.m. and you come by 9:01. Unless rapture happened, I like to be punctual. I am there in that meeting by 9 already. Like I'm there waiting. And then you come by 9:02 or 9:03. Some people will even come by 9:10. You will meet me. Because there's a standard for acceptable behavior of people around me. Another example, you can't just come into my sacred space where I'm protecting my energy and the buttons that I'm pressing into more and more abundance in my life and think that you can come and say certain words that are derogatory words, abusive words, verbally abusive words and condescending words, negative words, the way I will kick you out of that. My spirit naturally repels those things now because of practice. Over the years, I've had so much practice. So those things are now naturally repelled. So when people come in with a certain energy into that space, you cannot stay in my space. If you want to stay there, that's fine. I'll leave it for you. But if it's my space, you can't stay in my space. If it's my space, you cannot stay in my space. You have to go. Look at it now. You cannot come into my office now. Come and be doing certain things like that. No, sir. You will get out. I will walk you out. Carry your mind to another place and go and do what you want to do there. Right? Say I'm not bluffing. Some people have learned about that thing from me the hard way. I have a meeting with you. You come when you're supposed to come. You come when you're supposed to come. So you have to set standards for acceptable behavior. What is acceptable behavior for you? What is acceptable behavior for other people around you? Okay, very quickly, let's continue. We still have a lot to cover. Now, another standard that you have to raise, right? You also have to raise your standard for how much money you should be making. The reason why you have high targets but you never hit them is because you still have a low standard for how much money you should be making. That's why somebody can just come and offer you peanut like this. You don't wave peanut in front of you. Take 5,000. Won't you take 5,000? Won't you take 5,000? And you say yes. Now, thank you so much. God bless you. And you take the 5,000, and then you go and give the person 100,000 naira worth of value, and you say you are the real vessel of value. I did not mean to drag you, but it's true. It's not true. You have to raise your standards. You have to raise your standards for how much money you should be making. It's different from your income target, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's different from your income target. It's not the same. Your income target for 2025 can be by the end of it is December 31st, 2025, and I have 25 million naira, or I have 250 million naira, depending on what yours is. Excuse me, that is different from what your standard for how much money you should be making, because it is the standard you have that determines your actions concerning money. It is the standard you have. Many people have $10,000 target and $10 standard. You are trying to chase a $10,000 target with a $10 standard. Somebody say Delulu. Say Delulu. Now, I don't need to tell you that you need to raise your standards when it comes to that. So you need to raise your standards for how much money you should be making. Okay? Now, another standard that you must raise, right? You have to raise your standards for how you handle time, right? Let me say that again. You need to raise your standard for how you handle time. What do I mean? Time is the most valuable resource. Time is the most valuable resource. Nothing is more important than time. You have to raise your standards for how you spend your time, how you give your time, and how you invest your time. And the most important of the three is in how you spend your time before how you give it. Because you see, many of us here who complain that we are not productive. It's not that you're not productive. You just have extremely terrible low standards for how you spend your time. That's the reason why you can surf the internet without creating anything. You don't have standard for how you spend the time. So you can go on social media and you can scroll for 4 hours. And when you are done scrolling for 4 hours, you now go and do one small task. You just do one thing. Maybe you had planned to do 7 things that day. You now go and do one out of the 7. Then you say you have done for the day. You have been productive for the day. Well done, sir. Somebody randomly just calls you in the name of I am your friend. The person randomly just calls you. And next thing you know, 2 hours of your time has disappeared. And you cannot tell me one productive thing that you did with that time. Imagine if you do that with 5 people every day. You can't account for 10 hours of your day, 10 hours of your day. At the end of the week, you have blown 70 hours in a week. Let us do the mathematics. Compounding formula. Let me show you how much of your year you are blowing on time that you will never get back by giving it to people who are not contributing anything productive into your day. You are giving 10 hours a day times 365 days. You are giving 3,650 hours a year divided by you're giving 152 days in your year to people who are not contributing anything whatsoever to your day and to your goals. Is that not interesting? Do you see why you need to raise your standards? You need to raise your standards for how you spend your time and who you give your time to. I like to say that if people don't tell you thanks for your time from time to time, you are too accessible. You need to become scarce. If people don't tell you thanks for your time from time to time, you are too accessible. And that time that you are giving away, like that time that you're giving away to people so freely like that, if you were able to get it back, when you get that time back, do you know that when you get that time back, you have so much more time that you can use to groom yourself, time that you can now redirect into investment. So you're now investing your time instead of spending it anyhow. You're now investing it. Many of us who have more time than money, it is because of the ability to, it is because of the misuse and mismanagement of that time. That's why we are not able to make anything out of the time that we have. Many of us who have more time than money, you know what I'm talking about? In 24 hours of a day, you don't have meetings back to back. You don't have projects that you are running. You don't have contracts that you're executing. You have all the time in the world. How do you have all the time in the world, but yet you are not more productive than somebody who doesn't even have time at all? How? In a day, you can't even say that you have invested 2 hours, ordinary 2 hours like this out of 24 hours in a day. You can't say you have invested that 2 hours for yourself in a whole week. It's not by attending Twitter Spaces, so I don't know who I'm talking to, but it's not by attending Twitter Spaces, so you need to raise your standards for how you spend your time and who you spend your time with. There are many people who, by virtue of the fact that they don't have anything productive to do with their time, they only think of who they can spend, that's who they can waste it with. You understand? Who they can while it away with. They are time splurgers. There's no better word to describe them. They are time splurgers. A time splurger is somebody who doesn't have anything better to do with their time. So they are looking for someone else that they can splurge that time with. You know what it means to splurge? Just like when you're splurging money, it's like, this is how they're spending time. That's how they're spending time. So they're looking for somebody who can splurge that time with them. And so when they remember you, their guy, their guy, when they call you like this, bro, have fun. And then they say, where you there now? Where you there? And you tell them where you are. They'll come and meet you. Next thing you know, 4 hours have disappeared. Gone. So point is, and when that 4 hours disappears, you don't even know one productive thing I did with the time. It's crazy. So raise your standards for how you spend your time. You have to become more scarce. You have to become more scarce. You can't be available to everybody. People will not pay you for time that is not scarce. So people will not pay you for time that is not scarce. You have to become less available. When you become less available, you become more valuable. When you become less available, you become more productive because you can redirect that new available time. See, your less availability will increase the availability of time. So that new time that has been made available can be redirected into something else. You can redirect it into reading at least one book for 2 hours daily, reading one book for 3 hours daily. I wish I can turn my camera now and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Like, should I show you? Let me show you. So this is just right. This is a small collection of the books I read every day. I have book libraries in almost every city that I spend a lot of time in. In almost every city. In almost every city I spend a lot of time in, I have libraries, books, but not random books, by the way, just so you know, not random books. So I like to say that anything that takes away your time to study has taken away everything from you. Anything that takes away your time to study has taken away everything from you. It makes some people they only run to you money then in shines brighter. Only about growing. You need to set standards. How to spend time. Okay. My voice is it okay now? In chat? Is this breaking? How is it now? How is it now? Please let me know. It's good now, right? Okay, fantastic. So you need to raise your standards for how you spend your time, right? Now, another standard I'll stop there. I'll stop there for today as far as standards is concerned. Maybe on one of our future sessions, I'll teach more about standards. But in summary, right, you're raising your standards for what? You're raising your standards for what you consider to be acceptable behavior for yourself and for other people around you. You are raising your standards for how you spend your time, who you spend your time with, how you invest your time. You're raising your standards for, oh, there was one, that one I wanted to mention. I just remembered it now. You're raising your standards for how much money you should be making. You're raising your standards for how much money that you should be making. Someone says it's breaking. Is it still breaking now? I think it should be okay now. Is it okay now? It's better now. Okay. Alrighty. So and then finally, one more standard is your standard for who you associate with. So you have to raise your standards for the quality of people that you associate yourself with. You have to raise your standard for the quality of individuals that you associate yourself with. What do I mean? What do I mean by that? It doesn't mean that you should go and delete all the contacts of your friends because of the fact that you want to raise your standard. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you need to look at your circle. Look closely at your circle. Excuse me. The people who have the greatest impact on you, your decisions, your life, every other thing, are the people who are inside your circle. You need to take a very close look at that circle and ask yourself, which of these people in this circle are propelling me and not dragging me down? Which of these people are propelling me and not dragging me down? You have to have that conversation with yourself. You can't avoid it though. You have to have that conversation with yourself. So you raise your standards for the quality of people you associate yourself with. Why? Dr. Ugochukwu Omeogu was the first person I heard this from, and it challenged my way of thinking about the concept of network versus net worth. And he said, your network is not your net worth. Your network is not your net worth. Your network is determined by your net worth. So your net worth or your self-worth determines your network. And then your network amplifies your net worth. If there's anybody who can relate to that statement, I am that person. In 2020, I lost all my friends. They didn't die, God forbid. But I lost them. They couldn't connect to the frequency that I was flying at, even as far back as 2020. They didn't want to grow as much as I did, and that's okay. Nothing wrong in that. But just that, you cannot be in my circle. You cannot be in my circle. Remember, you have standard for the quality of, for the behavior of people in your space, right? You have standards for these things now. So by virtue of your standards, these people can no longer be in your circle anymore. So I had to raise that standard. And so by raising that standard, long story short, it was only a matter of time before I started attracting the highest quality people you can think of from all walks of life, right? You begin to attract the highest quality of people from all walks of life. Some of us who you like to pursue rich and successful people, you want to join their net, you want them to be your friend, you want to connect with them and things like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. But why do you need to be pursuing people who can be attracted to you instead? Why do you need to be pursuing people and be looking like somebody who is looking for help? There's a version of you that those people are hunting, like they're practically hunting for. They're hunting for. They would happily send you a DM because they just want to connect with you. See, I can list names, so there are plenty. I can list names. I never had to send anybody. You will never have to send anybody any DM and say, I want to just connect with you. Why? Let's continue. Many of us here, Internet Business School will help a lot of people. So we've moved away from standards. Now you know the different standards that you need to raise so that you'll be able to hit your goals and meet your targets, right? Now let's talk about targets for a bit. Let's talk about targets. You want to build yourself a 9-figure business and you don't have a target. Let me ask you a question. How many of you want to be a millionaire? Type the word millionaire in the chats. Give me the word. Give me the word millionaire in the chats. You want to be a millionaire. Type the word millionaire in chat. Do you know that most of the time when I ask people, what's your target? What is your target? What is your target? 2025. What is your target? The person says, I want to make millions. You know yourself now. You know yourself. I want to make millions. That's my target. I want to make what? Millions. That's my target. Yeah. Millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. My target is I want to be a millionaire. Oh, Lord. No. There is no number in the number system of the world that is called millionaire. And at the same time, there is no number. How many zeros does millionaire have exactly? Like, how do you put a number on that? Like, what is the number that represents the word millionaire? What is the number that represents the word billionaire? Like, how do you put a number on that? How do you aim at millionaire? Please, I wish we can have some kind of like physical match here where we just target something. How do you aim millionaire? Can somebody share with me how to aim millionaire? How do you aim billionaire? How do you aim that? What do you use to aim billionaire? What about zillionaire? How do you aim that? How do you aim it? You're aiming at nothing. The reason why people who say, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a billionaire, they don't become it is because you are aiming at nothing. You are shooting at nothing. You don't have anything you are aiming at. Choose a target. Choose a target. And don't tell me you want to be a millionaire. You're still playing. Choose a target. Don't tell me you want to make millions. Choose a target. Don't tell me you want to make 7 figures. Talk about 7 figures. Like, how do you aim at 7? Like, how do you aim at 7 figures? How? Like, how? How do you do that? 7 figures is 7 figures. 7 figures is from 1 million to 99,999,000. Sorry, no, that's 8. Okay, 99 million is 8 figures. It's to 9,999,000. That's 7 figures. So what is your 7 figures here? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean when you say 7 figures? What is your target? What is your target? What are you aiming at? Many of us, we don't have you don't have target. Oh, many of us in New Year, you say your New Year, what do you call it? Your New Year resolution is, I must become. This is my million year. My million year. You say, I must make my million this year. I must make my millions this year. What are you aiming at? What are you aiming at? You're aiming at nothing. You are aiming at nothing. If you don't have a number, see, a number is what makes it a target. A number is what makes it. If you don't have a number, you don't have a target. You can quote me anywhere. You don't have a target. Because how are you now going to measure the distance between where you are and that target that you have set? Mister, I will make millions this year. My target is millions. How are you going to measure your distance between where you are and millions? How are you going to predictably work towards making that? Like, how are you going to do it? Can you break it down to the numbers? Can you break it down? How many sales do you need to make millions? Guys, come on now. Many of us, we need to stop being naive. Someone needs to just shake you. That they just need to shake you like this so you can wake up. Many of us are delulu. So you have to set targets. Choose a target. And very interestingly, okay? Interestingly, many of us do not know. Many of us don't know the difference between a target and a goal. Do you know that? Many of us do not know the difference between a target and a goal. We don't know the difference between a target and a goal. If I ask you now and I say, what is the difference? What is the difference between a target and a goal? Can you tell me the difference between a target and a goal? Or do you use it interchangeably? Many of us, we are using it interchangeably. You think it's the same thing? You think it's the same thing, Abby? That's okay. You think targets and goal mean the same thing? Interesting. So I found out that targets, imagine there was some kind of like a dart board, darts, right? The game of darts. Imagine there was some kind of dart board right behind me. If there was a dart board behind me and I take darts and I'm throwing at it, I am what? The moment I'm doing like this, what am I doing? What does that dart board represent? Please follow me. I'm targeting it, Abby. I'm aiming at it, Abby. So what does that dart board represent? What does it represent? Tell me in the chats, in the comments. What does it represent? Right? Now I'm aiming. But what am I aiming at? What am I aiming at? I'm aiming at my targets. Am I aiming at my goal? Now, why did the word goal not come to your mind? Please answer the question. Why did the word goal not come to your mind in this illustration? If the two words mean the same thing, why is it that goal did not come to your mind? It was targets that came to your mind. Why? The reason is simple. A target is anything that you are aiming at. It's that simple. Anything that you are aiming at is a target. Now, let me share with you what the goal here means. So I am aiming at this target. But mind you, I am not a professional, right? I am not a professional darts player. So the chances that I'm going to hit the target is way lower than someone who is a pro at the game. Right? The chances I'm going to hit my target is lower than someone who is a pro at the game. So in order for me to increase my chances of hitting that target, what needs to happen? I need to become better. I need to become good at throwing this dart to hit the target. That is the goal. The goal is who you need to become to hit the target. I hope that made sense to somebody. The goal is who you need to be able to hit the target. So you say you want to be a doctor. You have to read medicine. So the goal is read medicine. So the degree to which you are able to study medicine and come out with flying colors, that is now going to determine the quality of doctor that you're going to become. That's now going to determine the level to which you'll be able to hit your targets. I hope it makes sense. So the goal is who you need to be in order for you to hit the target. So the quality of your goal determines the ability to hit the target, right? The quality of the goal, that's in other words, the level to which you are able to evolve, the level to which you are able to hit the goal is going to determine the level to which you are able to hit the target. So if for example, I am not a very good marketer, why would I set a target that is maybe, let's say, 500 million naira in a year? If I set 500 million naira in a year as a target, what it means is that I need to level up to that point where I now bear the capacity. I can now do that which I have set as my target. Does that make sense? Excuse me. So it now becomes easier for me to hit my target just by virtue of the fact that I have now evolved. My goal has been met. So if I meet my goal, then I will meet my target. But you don't focus on the target. You keep the target in mind and you focus on your goal. Many of us focus on the targets and we don't even pay attention to the goal. Many of us don't even pay attention to the goal. All you think about every day, all day, every day, your mind, your focus, your everything you see is the target. Your actions are guided by the target. Everything is guided by the target. No. See, your actions should be guided by your standards and your goals. The junction by which your standards and your goals come together is where your focus should be. Your focus, that is what your eyes is set upon, is your goal, and your standard is guiding you, your actions, while your eye is focused on your goals all day. Every day, you're working on your goals. Every day, all day, you're working on your goals. You're working on your goals. Your mind is on the target, but your eye is on your goal. Every day, your eye is on your goal. Your business is not the target. Your business is your goal. The target is the outcome of focusing on the goal. I hope that makes sense. So, these are the 4 internal factors. Now we're about to enter dimension 2, which are the external factors, right? So the 4 internal factors, I'll run through them again very quickly. Factor number 1 is your mindset, right? I talked about mindset briefly, your standards, your targets, and your goals. So for somebody here, you need to add 2 extra zeros to your targets so that you can push yourself to become more. Most of us, see, you see that whole idea of setting realistic goals. There is nothing spiritual or scriptural about setting realistic goals. Quote me anywhere. There is nothing scriptural or spiritual about setting realistic goals. If you set your goals according to what you can do, when you do it, you will take the glory. Let me continue. Okay, external factors very quickly. External factors that must be addressed. We're still talking, these are foundations. We're laying foundation. Even if we don't finish this series, we can turn it to a two-week series. We continue next weekend. What do you guys think? We do week 1 today. That's episode 1 today. And then we do part 2 next weekend. Abi? But we must enter every angle. We must hit everything one by one. All right. So now let's talk about external factors, right? So let's talk about external factors very quickly. These are the foundations. These are the foundations. These are the foundations. Now, external factors. For external factors, I like to talk about this thing, right? I like to talk about anchors and propellers, right? The first time I talked about this thing was 2021 during a class I was invited for. My fire is now more humble. That year, the fire was like I was doing a crusade. I remember that session. You know, there was a retreat I had with a friend of mine. We went to Warri for a 2-day, 3-day retreat. It was on day 1, in the evening of day 1, that we were having conversation. She was talking about how most of the relationships that she had been in were not working out, and things like that. She was just sharing some things with me about her personal life. And I shared some things with her about mine too. While I was sharing those things with her, I realized something, that the people we have in our circle fall into 2 categories, right? We fall into 2 categories. Category number 1 are the people who I like to call anchors. And category number 2 are the people who I like to call propellers. Now imagine a ship, right? Imagine a ship. When a ship gets to the harbor and it wants to park, right? What happens? They let down the anchor so that the ship is not going to move forward in any direction. Is that not it? So they let down the anchor. When you let down the anchor, the ship doesn't move forward in any direction. Is that not it? So anchors, we have anchors in our circle. We have people in our circle that hold us down in one way or the other, preventing us from moving forward. And I'll give examples of this thing. Just the same way, when the ship is about to leave the harbor, what happens? They engage the propellers. It starts to spin. As it begins to spin, the ship begins to move forward. It begins to move forward in any direction. Same way, there are people in our lives who are propellers. They are engaged as propellers. Every time they come in, something moves forward. You move forward spiritually. You move forward intellectually. You move forward mentally, emotionally, right? Financially. and otherwise. Those are the people we need more in our circle. But if you check the reality of it is that most of the people in our circle are anchors. Most of the people in our circle are anchors, holding us down in one way or the other. For example, we have the one, in no particular order, right? We have the ones I like to call idea anchors. I like to call them idea anchors because they're the ones that we share. They are the ones that we used to share all our biggest ideas with you. You know what I'm talking about? Those people that you share all your biggest ideas with, and when you share those ideas with them, they are very quick. They are very quick to tell you all the reasons why it's not going to work. They will explain to you that their brother's nephew tried that same thing and the thing did not work for him. They will share with you with backed evidence. Sometimes, most times, without any evidence. They will tell you all the reasons why it's not going to work. They will tell you all the reasons why. And you know what's dangerous about these people, right? The reason why these people are dangerous is because of the fact that we hold their opinion in very high esteem. We hold their opinion in very high esteem. And when they share that opinion with you, you take it hook, line, and sinker. You take it hook, line, and sinker, and then you carry it and you take it as that is the truth. That is not the truth. That is not even true, let alone the truth. Because for most of them, 9 times out of 10, all they have to give is an opinion. Not even experience on the subject. It's their biases. They're just projecting their biases onto you. And you will take their biases hook, line, and sinker. Why should you even be taking results? Like, how do you take advice from someone who doesn't have the results that you want? I don't do that personally. Especially when it comes to what grows my business. If it's about life issues, you go and meet the elderly and they'll give you some advice on life issues. No problem. That one works sometimes. But not that I can't take money making advice from a broke person. I can't take, there was a time when somebody was trying to give me advice on how to run my webinars, and you've never run a webinar before. Thanks for your advice, but I'm not taking it. Most of the time, we go to seek validation from people who have opinions to give, not experience. And these people will give you their opinion. They are very quick to give you. And when they give you your opinion, you will take it, you will drink it, and you will work with it. And that's why many of us, our ideas die as ideas. God has blessed you with ideas. God has planted ideas that will lead to transgenerational change. He has planted ideas in you. And you carry it and go and give it to somebody that only has an opinion to give. And the person will now give you that opinion. You will swallow it. You will swallow it and you will believe it that your idea was never good enough in the first place. That you were never good enough. They'll tell you are too young. They tell you are too old. They tell you are not good. They tell you have not learned anything. What have you learned? When did you start this thing that you want to come and be doing all these kind of things? Who even told you that you can do something like this? How do you know it's going to work? How do you know it's not going to work? How do you know you will not lose your money? You lose your money. It's a scam. So many crazy thoughts that they plant in your mind, and these things are fertilized. They germinate and they become disbelief. And then that's how your idea dies on the spot. And it happens over and over again. It's now a pattern. It's now a pattern. When your ideas come, you carry the idea, you go and give it to the same person. The same person that will discourage you, know that the person will discourage you. But somehow there's a part of you that thinks or feels. There's a part of you that thinks or feels that the person will not discourage you. But it always happens over and over again. Same loop. Keeps repeating itself. My dear friends, stop telling people your big ideas and show them your results instead. Okay? People cannot discourage results. Stop telling people your big ideas. Show them your results instead. Always be in a hurry to test your ideas. Test it out and let your feedback give you what you are going to know. That's it's the feedback. Excuse me. If you don't have someone with experience to meet and ask questions, go and test. Let the feedback give you the experience that you need. Let the feedback give you the results that you need. Give you the feedback. It gives you the data that you need to use to know whether it's a good idea or not. People cannot discourage results. When you start getting results, the same people that were discouraging you from day one, they will be the ones that will now become your advertiser's delight. They will now be the ones saying, maybe I said it. We have been praying for you. We have been praying for you all this while. We have been supporting you. Yeah. They're the ones that will tell you, so this thing now, the thing is working. Come and teach us now. How does it work? They're the ones who do that. So how I was able to deal with them, right? How I was able to deal with them, because the thing about idea anchors is that most of them are your family members, so you cannot cut them off. You can't cut off your wife now. You cannot cut off your brother. You can't cut off your sister. They are usually family members, these idea anchors. So what I just do is I stop telling them my big ideas and I started showing them my results. They can't relate. Like, see, people naturally, people are not wired to see things below the surface level. The natural eye of man sees things at surface level. Garbage in, garbage out. So every 1% of energy must bring 1 naira back to you. 10% of energy must bring 10 naira back to you. If it doesn't bring 10 naira back to you, my friend, you are wasting your time as far as they are concerned. But we all know, many of us here building on the internet, you guys, you know what I'm talking about. That's not how it works. That's not how internet business works. Internet business does not obey the law of Chronos. That's Chronos time. It is not about 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year. No. It's times and seasons. It's times and seasons. There's a time to plant. 2020, between the months of March and May 2020, every night I was burning the midnight candle and I was learning for 4 hours. I was learning the different things I needed to get ahead in my industry. I was learning the relevant skills, and I had gathered so much light in the space of 3 months. The planting season. And when it was after the planting season, I had gathered so much light, I had gathered so much. And I started to find places that were dark where I could fix my light in. And so I started fixing my light into different dark places, helping people to solve their problems, And next thing you know, people start talking about you. People like sharing the testimonies of their transformation, right? So, business, our line of business, right? Our line of business does not obey that principle of, garbage in, garbage out. Not necessarily, especially when you are starting out. It obeys the other principle of times and seasons. It obeys the principle of seed, time, and harvest. There's a planting season. In fact, there are 2 planting seasons. People don't talk about this enough. There are 2 planting seasons. You see, most people only focus on planting season, the planting season that involves them. That's the process of you investing in yourself. So you plant, you invest in yourself. And the next thing you want to do is to go and sell that which you have invested in yourself. This is what most of us do, by the way. And the reason why that doesn't work is because you're doing it outside of the principle that is supposed to obey. And the principle that is supposed to obey is that it's not only about how much you have invested in yourself. The reason you're investing in yourself is not so that you can go and use your investment to cash out from everybody around you. No, it's so that you can become a helper. Selling is helping. Selling is not cashing out, though, like many of us see it. Selling is helping. So you are now helping people through that which you have invested in yourself. You are now helping people, finding people finding places where there is darkness, where your light fits in, where you can fix in your light. And then people will happily exchange money for that solution. Isn't that interesting? Yes. So, okay. So selling is what? Selling is not begging. Selling is not exploiting. Selling is not evil, like many people see it. It's not bad. It's helping. It's the same reason why I can never take the money of a man that I cannot help. And I will never keep the money of a man. I cannot. I will not keep the money of a man that I cannot help. It is possible that the man can buy the product though. After he buys it, we now find out that how come you bought this product when I can't help you? I mean, you look at what's inside and you can't relate. You see it as something that you don't need. So why you shouldn't be keeping my product if I can't help you? Please send me your account details. I will happily. If I tell you the number of people I've done this for, and they'll be wondering, is this person okay? No, you don't ask for a refund. I ask to refund you. Send me your account details. I want to send you your money back. I can't help you. Why should I keep your money if I can't help you? Because if I'm keeping your money and I cannot help you, then there's no difference between me and the Yahoo person on the street. There's no difference. I'm a swindler. That will now make me a swindler. So going back to anchors. So we talked about idea anchors and what you need to do about idea anchors. Now, there's also another category of people that I like to call financial anchors. And you know what I'm talking about. Once I mention the word financial anchors, you already know what I'm talking about. Those people that once they call you like this, it leads to a debit alert every single time. Emphasis on every single time. And you don't feel good about it. Normally, giving is supposed to make you feel like you have planted. Normally, giving is supposed to make you feel like you have planted. Thank you for the reminder, Faith. Giving is supposed to make you feel like you have planted. But when it doesn't feel that way, when you feel some kind of tension, negative friction every time you give, that is not something you should be doing. You shouldn't be giving in that case because it's not going to come back. It won't. Because there is something in your heart that shouldn't be there. Okay? So going back to the other type of planting, I forgot to mention, right? So I said the first planting is that which you make in yourself. The second planting is that which you make in others. Right? You cannot pour out of an empty cup. So you have to what? You have to fill yourself first. You have to fill yourself first. Then you can pour into others, into other people's cups. Help them solve their problems. If you help enough people get what they want, they will in turn help you get everything you want. Exhibit A, right here. Okay. How many of us are getting value so far? Can you type value in the chats? Type value in the chats if you're getting value here. Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. So we're still talking about external factors. Now, a couple of other kinds of anchors. So financial anchors, those guys who will just call you and boom, you don't even know how money will just disappear from your accounts. Money just keeps going and you're not happy. You're not happy every time anything happens. You need to cut those people off. You need to make yourself less accessible to them. They'll get the message, right? They will get the message. Yes. And another very interesting type of financial anchors that people don't really talk about are the people who encourage you or compel you to eat your seed. The people who encourage you to eat your seed. The people who encourage you to eat your seed, they are the most subtle yet most dangerous among the people we need to cut off, especially when it comes to financial anchors. Because when you're starting out, the monies that come in, as money is coming in, all this money is seeds. I see the money that comes in the beginning as seeds. Any money that comes in for me is a seed. Seed that I can invest in myself, seed that I can invest in my business. I just need that seed so that I can keep growing. By virtue of the growth that comes from replanting my seed, I can now begin to do other things. Say it's your younger brother. Stop giving him fish. Every time you give somebody fish, you are fueling irresponsibility. So stop giving him fish. That's all I can tell you. Find a way to help him to create. Find a way to help him to create. A creator can never run out of resources. A creator is the person who attracts resources. A creator attracts resources. Resources are always looking for creators. The reason why your brother keeps running to you is because he's not creating anything. It doesn't matter what age he is, so don't tell me it's because he's 10 years old. If he's 10 years old, you should be taking care of him now. Normal now, yeah, he's big sister. But if he's of age, then he should start creating something. If he's not creating something, he's wasting that beautiful brain that God has put inside his head. Most of us just want it easy. We want life easy, free of responsibility. And so we are looking for who's going to give us some kind of like free pass. So give me money. Give me strategy. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, anchors, right? Financial anchors. We also have spiritual anchors. Spiritual anchors, people who they have this tendency of drawing you down spiritually, right? Yes, that's the God DNA in us. So one of these days, we're going to talk about your creative ability, how to create your life from the inside out. That day will not be normal. So prepare yourself. A lot of things will happen here on Internet Business School. So spiritual anchors, right? Spiritual anchors, people who have a way of drawing you down, they don't contribute anything meaningful to your life spiritually. And for many of us, we don't just realize this, but sometime in the future, you will learn that business is a spiritual game. So for somebody who is not playing the spiritual side of business, the person is only relying on effort. And just how far can effort take you? There are many of us here who every single day of the year 2024, you were taking action, you were executing, you were doing trainings, you were driving traffic, you were selling, you were in DMs, you were doing calls, you were doing all kinds of things. You were making efforts, you were doing things, a lot of things. My question to you is, how far? How far? That's my question to you. So many of us are going to find, and by the way, I will be bringing someone to Internet Business School who together we are going to dissect the spiritual side of business, how to build your business without stress. That's the effortless way to build a business without stress. So some people are relying on effort. Some people are building effortlessly. I'll show you how. So there are spiritual anchors. Those people you want to make sure you don't have them in you want to make sure you keep them very far away from you. You don't need such people in your life. You don't need such people in your circle. You shouldn't have those people having all this access to you. So we don't need spiritual anchors. We definitely don't. We also don't need emotional anchors. The reason why we don't need emotional anchors, I'll tell you this, and for the sake of recognition, people who are emotional anchors, whenever they are around you, even by just hearing their name, it makes you to subconsciously press a button that increases lack in your life. Remember those buttons I talked to you about in the beginning, right? It makes you to subconsciously press a button that increases lack in your life. When you hear a name or you hear the name of someone or someone comes around you, the person calls you, the person comes to your house, and all that happens is there's just so much toxicity whenever that person is mentioned or whenever that person comes around. There is nothing good to say. There is nothing good that comes out of conversations with such people. Such a person is an emotional anchor. Now, what makes such people so dangerous is the fact that without you even knowing, they can be forcing you to tilt towards what increases lack in your life without you knowing. Remember what I said, that joy is what? Joy is a fetcher. Most of these people have a unique ability to steal all that creates joy around us. We are so miserable. Some of us are so miserable because of these people I'm talking about. They have a way of sucking out all the good that you no longer see what is good about where you are. You can't see anything good about where you are. You can't see anything good about your current standing, where you are right now in your business, where you are right now in your life. You can't see anything good because they are the ones who suck out all things good. They tell you all the things that are not there so that you can focus on it. When you focus on what's not there, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on lack. And what happens when you focus on something? So So these emotional anchors are so dangerous in that. And that's why, as much as possible, you want to reduce the number. In fact, you shouldn't even have any emotional anchor in your circle. Ideally, you shouldn't even have any emotional anchors in your circle. You know, because of my understanding of anchors, right? This thing came by revelation 2000 was it 2019? I had that trip. That's 2019. Yes, 2019, I think. 2019, 2018, thereabout. So it was by virtue of that revelation that I saw for the first time how powerful our circle really is. The people who control your actions, who influence your actions, they are all inside your circle. And if you put them on a list, you carry a notepad and you write a list of these people I'm talking about, like these people in your circle, right? And you put them in anchor, propeller, make a table, anchor, propeller, then write everybody's name, put them in their different categories. You are going to find out that there are more people in anchor category, if not 99.99999% of the people in your circle, they are under anchor category. And so a very difficult decision needs to be made. For some of us here, a very difficult decision needs to be made. I'm not going to tell you what that decision is. So it's not me that will tell you to go and cut off anybody. If you want to cut off somebody, cut them off. Okay. So we have about 20 minutes to wrap this up. We can't use 20 minutes to do what's left. So we have an entire second section. That's an entire second section. In fact, we'll finish the first part of this series, right? We'll finish the first part of this series, which is the foundations, right? The things that you must first have in place, right? That you must first address before you can build a 9-figure business. You build your business from the inside out, though, not the other way around, right? So if the internal things are not addressed, then when the money comes, the internal things can swallow it up. It will make sure that it doesn't last in your hand. It will make sure that you waste it. It will make sure, for some people, it will make sure it doesn't even come at all. These internal factors, super, super crucial, right? Even the external too. And the second external thing, very quickly, so that we can wrap up, is the environment, right? Your environment. I remember then in COVID, when we were in COVID lockdown. So I was in COVID with my family, you know, my mom, my dad, my sisters. I'm the only guy in my family. So my sister's husband, my elder sister's husband. So we're all in the COVID lockdown together. And I also remember very vividly that none of these people were doing anything related to where I was going. Do you understand? Like, my two sisters are medical doctors. The other one is a chef and a lawyer. My mother is in teaching. Like, she used to be a lecturer in Uniben. Now she's a provost at one of these monotechnics here in Edo State. And then my sister's husband, also in a very completely different line in travel and tourism. My dad is retired. So nobody was doing anything related to what I was doing. Therefore, nobody could relate. And by virtue of that, the amount of discouragement, that I was getting on a daily basis, daily. If I had a penny or a dollar for how much discouragement I was getting every day, I'd have been a very rich guy even before I became rich. So the point is that your environment, the kind of environment that you create for yourself, and I'll share with you how you can create environments, by the way. So the kind of environment that you are able to create for yourself can either make you or break you. I remember a guy who carried me in his cab, a taxi driver in Dubai. So he took me back home from Deira Market. I went to go and do some shopping. So he took me home from Deira Market. Please, I see some people who are requesting for the mic. If you have something you want to say, or maybe you want to share something, you want to drop some feedback, there's a comment section inside the the channel. So go straight into the channel. You see where everybody has been commenting. There's 552 comments. You cannot miss it. Just enter there and drop your comment there. Okay. I'm looking at the comments, so I'll see what you have to say. So this guy is carrying me home. So as we're going home, I'm, having conversation with him. I like to have conversation with people who I'm in a vehicle with, especially if it's a taxi. So we're having conversation. He's a Nigerian. Turns out he's a Nigerian and he's an Igbo man. And he's been in Dubai for about 15 years. And for all that 15 years, he has been doing the same work. His taxi. He has been driving the taxi for 15 years. I was intrigued. In my mind. I'm like, why? Like, I had to know why. Not that there's anything wrong in the line of work that he was doing, because taxi drivers make relatively good money in Dubai. But I asked him, I said, like, it's been 15 years. That's a decade and a half. Do you love driving taxi? Like, is there something about taxi that I don't know about? Like, so I was wondering, like, I couldn't make sense of how anyone at all can drive one taxi for that amount of time. So I asked him, so what was the driving force? Why have you not, like, don't you want more? Are you not trying to, like, build something more? Are you not trying to go for more things, build something like another business and all of that? So when I asked him, he was like, say, he was speaking pidgin. So he was like, say this thing, easy, easy. That was the first thing he said. Easy. Take note. That's the first belief. The reason why his life is hard is because he believes easy. So let's continue. And then he says that let's say there's no work for anybody. There's no work. This is another man's country. There's no work for anybody in this place. Write down number 2. He believes that in order for you to make money in this country, you need to be working for someone, or you need to find work in the country for you to make money in the country. That's okay. So after he was sharing all these things, and I told him, I said, but my experience is different though. He said, what do I mean? I said, I've been working from home since 2018. I lost my job in 2018, and since then I've been working from home. So he's like, working from home, no be Yahoo. He said, no be Yahoo you they do like this. And I told him, no, it's not. I'm a Nigerian, yes, and I work from home, yes, and I work online, yes, but we're not doing Yahoo. So if not be Yahoo, as far as me I know, anybody will do anything online, Yahoo. And any work where person no sweat. That's any work where person no sweat to get. No be real work be that. Are you hearing somebody? Are you guys writing down the sweet bullet points that kept a man stuck for 15 good years? You say any work where person no sweat for, no be work be that. I'm like, really? So I've not been working. That's the best thing. I'm like, so I've not been working. I could not change his mind. And I didn't even want to change his mind because it was not my assignment. You cannot change 15 years damage in a 15-minute ride. The best thing I could have done for him was probably to plant a seed. That would have been the best thing. I've just planted the seed. So why I shared this story is because in the same country where this guy believes all these things that I just shared, with you, in the same country where he believes all these things, I come in as a tourist. 2022 in May, I come in as a tourist, and 12 days after I am a resident. I am I have 3 years residency in that country. Mark that. 12 days later, that same 12 days later, I have a coaching and consulting company in that same country, right? Same country, different experience, right? So I have a coaching and consulting company in the same country in 12 days. After I set that up, I then go and rent a place. I rent an apartment. When I rent the apartment and I make sure that the apartment I rent it in an area where I'm going to be having access to high net worth individuals, high quality individuals who, when I start interacting with them, the chances that they are going to want to work with me on a one-on-one basis as either a consultant or a coach is going to be very high. Then I can charge as high as 50,000 dirhams. 50,000 dirhams, go and punch your calculator, multiply it by the rate that it was 480 when I was living in Dubai the last time. 480, it was 480 to naira. So we have a lot of people who, I could go on, right? I mean, I spent the better part of the last 2 years in Dubai, so I could go on and on about the things that happened, the transformation, the growth in business, financial growth, and so on and so forth in the same place. So we have people who, a lot of people change physical location, but they remain in the same place mentally. Many people, especially my brothers and my sisters, my Nigerian brothers and sisters. So many of us, we are in a hurry to change physical location, but we remain in that same place mentally. So you change your physical location and you look for where looks like your mental location. Remember what I told you about standards? Your action will always align to standards. So if your standard is poverty, you see why I say poverty? If that's your standard, even if you change location, you're going to look for your standard. You're gonna look for your standard. You're going to look for your standard in that country and you're going to stay there because that's your standard, right? That's your standard. You're going to stay there. It's going to determine what kind of opportunities that you get yourself into or that you lobby for or that you try to secure for yourself because of your standard. So when I say environment, I don't just mean physical. I mean more mental, your mental environment. Many of us don't know that we have two what you see with your eyes is important. And it's just as important as what you see with your mind. So we don't train our ability to see with that which is not right here. Like, you don't train your ability to see with your mind. So you've not really seen yourself beyond where you currently are right now. So and that's why your standard is, right? Your standard is low. So by this exercise, so the exercise today now, or should I say the assignment from today's session is that you are going to go home and you're going to write, what is my new standard for my behavior, right? What is my new standard for what I consider to be acceptable behavior for myself, for other people around me? What is now my standard for how I spend my time, how I give my time, how I invest my time, who I spend my time with? What is now my new standard for how much money I should be making? What is now my standard for the quality of people that I allow into my space, into my circle, into my network? Okay. So this is where I'm going to call it a night. But before we do, let's take some questions. I'm going to have 10 minutes, exactly 10 minutes. We'll take questions and then we'll wrap it up. So if you have any question, drop it in the chats. Let's go. If you have any questions, drop it in the chats. Let's go. Okay. Looks like there are no questions. It means that everything that we have shared today is clean. It's easy to understand. And I personally am very grateful for the fact that we had 149 people from the beginning. Okay, no, not from the beginning, but we had 149 people for a very long time on this event today. In fact, we had between 140 to 149, and it was constant. It was consistent. That only shows that everyone who joined today is super, super intentional about this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part one. Part 2 is going to be coming up next weekend. Okay, next weekend. And I'm very pleased to announce to you that we're going to be having weekly sessions here on Internet Business School every Saturday by 8 p.m. West African time. You're going to see me live right here on the channel. I'm going to be teaching you different things that you can apply to build an internet business that you can be proud of. So the only thing I need from you is that you spread the word and get your friends to come. Let them come and see that the Lord is good. So you spread the word and get some of your friends to come in. Give them the link. The link is t.me/Internet Business School. t.me/Internet Business School. So let them come and join us on Saturday by 8 p.m. West African time. We're going to continue from here where we have stopped on how to build a 9-figure internet business. And where we're going to continue from in the session 2, in the part 2, is that I'm going to explain to you the only 3 things that you're going to need to build an internet marketing business to 9 figures. How does that sound? Does that sound nice? Type nice in the chat. Okay. The only 3 things that you will need to build a 9-figure business. Now we have laid the foundation. Right now we have laid the foundation. You have everything you need on a foundational level to be able to build a 9-figure business. If you build on top of what I have taught tonight, if you apply it, that's what I mean. If I say build, then it means you're applying it. So if you build on this, you can't go wrong. Okay. How do you prevent dabbling or shiny object syndrome? That's a very great question. Very great question. Okay. Okay. It's also foundations anyway, so let's handle it here. Okay. Let's handle it here. Shiny object syndrome. There are different things that lead to shiny object syndrome. Instead of me to tell you how to handle shiny object syndrome, what I would rather do is to help you understand what it is and why it happens. If you know what it is and you know why it happens, then you know exactly what to do about it. True or false? Exactly. So, shiny object syndrome, right, is, and by the way, this is not a standardized definition or anything, but this is just a layman's idea or a layman's definition of what shiny object syndrome is. Okay. Now, shiny object syndrome is that tendency for you to lean towards what is new and what is trendy. Did you get what I said? It is the tendency to lean towards what is new and what is trendy. Yes. Shiny object syndrome is not the same thing as scattered attention. Some people don't know the difference. It's not the same thing. It's not the same as scattered attention. Scattered attention is when you're doing too many things at the same time. Shiny object syndrome is when you jump into every new thing that you see. That's shiny object syndrome. And what leads to shiny object syndrome? Number 1 is a lack of clarity on purpose. When you lack purpose, you will be easily swayed into the newest direction. You'll be easily swayed into the next direction. Do you know how many opportunities that I have to say no to every single day? You have no idea. Like, the clearer you are on purpose, the more responsible you become with your choices. The clearer you are on purpose, the more responsible you become with your choices. So the first reason why most people fall into shiny object syndrome is because there's no purpose. There is no clear purpose behind why they're doing what they're doing. And number 2, their why is not deep enough. And this is the most rampant, just so you know. Your why is not deep enough. For some of us, the only reason why you're doing what you're doing is because you're trying to pay your bills. Some of us is because you're trying to pay PalmPay. PalmPay is looking for you all over the place. You want to sort out your loans. So you just decided to get into the thing and you're just trying your luck on that thing so that once the money comes, you can pay your loan. So your why is not deep enough. Anything that comes that looks like something that can make you money, you will jump into it because your why is not deep enough. Your why is not deep enough. So How do you ensure that your why is deep enough? I'll tell you. Number one, develop a why that goes beyond you. That's one way. Develop a why that goes beyond you. Let me give you an example. For me, success is not a choice. I mean, years ago, many people who have been following me for a minute now know this. Success is not a choice. It's a responsibility. And why is it a responsibility? It's because I know that there are some people who will stay stagnant. They are suffering right now. They are gnashing their teeth. They are suffering. They are in darkness. They are in need of a particular solution that only I, by virtue of my ministry, can provide. By virtue of my purpose, can provide. If I do anything that is outside of that, I will not be fulfilling purpose. If I run into anything else, in quotes, shiny object, I will not be fulfilling purpose. So your purpose must get clear and your why must be deep enough. One way to make sure your why goes deep is to go 5 whys below. 5 whys below. What do I mean? So, an example, you want to start an affiliate marketing business. Why? So you now tell me, well, I've always been interested in making money online, and I've always been interested in making money online. So I figured, I would explore. So I want to explore affiliate marketing. Okay, that's okay. So why do you want to explore affiliate marketing? I mean, you could have explored anything else amongst those businesses. There's so many different businesses you could be doing. Why do you want to explore network marketing? Why do you want to explore affiliate marketing? Why do you want to explore that one that you want to explore? Why? And then you begin to explain why. When you explain why, you see that thing that you have explained, I will ask you a why that is inside that thing again. I want to get to level 5. By the time I get to level 5 on why, I would have found what is driving you. And if you can tie that thing that is driving you, if you can tie it to one thing, you will hardly ever leave that thing. Any other thing that tries to sway you from it is going to become a distraction, a massive distraction to you. So go 5 whys deep and also work from purpose. Okay. I have only 2 minutes left. So I can only take one more question. You've been learning a lot these past few years. There hasn't been any tangible progress. You're feeling in your spirit that you're not making as many results as you expected because you are not intentionally willing to help, as your main focus is making money. I'm glad that you're beginning to get that mind shift. It's beginning to fall in place. So now your main issue is you want to help as many people as you can help and also build a community of successful internet marketers. But you yourself have not made success, or you have not made the success to teach others. Let me share something with you. This is not my first community. You can come here to Internet Business School, you see 14,000 people, and you're like, oh my God, this guy has a big community here. No, this is not my first community. This is not my second. It's not my third. It's not my fourth. It's not my fourth. My first community had 7 people on a WhatsApp group. We started on the 9th of July, 2020. And I remember I told those gentlemen, and I told them, I said, this is going to become an enabling community for raising top performers in the affiliate marketing industry. Today, that community has 23,000 members. Excuse me. That community has 23,000 members from more than 70 countries. And we have empowered more than 300 millionaires to date. We started with a 7-member WhatsApp group, and it was free. I don't need to say anything beyond this. If at the foundational level, your goal, right, your target, your mission, sorry, not your goal or your target, your mission is to help people, right? Is to help people. Remember what I said. If you help enough people to get what they want, they will in turn help you to get what you want. Because value does not exist in a vacuum. Value always returns to its source. It never exists in a vacuum. It always returns to its source. So there's no value you give. See, all this value you see me giving here, it costs me nothing. It costs me not that. I feel like I've just been having fun for the past 2-3 hours here. I feel like I've just been having fun. But somebody says, oh my God, this is super valuable. Okay, great. But at the core, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to help as many internet business owners to grow their business in 2025 and beyond. That is the root of the internet business school that you are in right now. Now, it doesn't make me Father Christmas. It doesn't also mean that I'm not going to make money. Of course, I'm going to make a lot of money. In fact, I'm going to make a lot of money from being the owner of this platform, right? The founder of this platform. I will make a lot of money by virtue of doing that, but that's not the driving force. I'm not doing it because I'm going to make money. You will even end up finding, and I'm glad you realized this early enough, because many of us, we usually don't realize this until it's like later. You realize that money doesn't fulfill on its promise. Why do you think that you see somebody who has made multiple millions of dollars and the person commits suicide? See, I've had the opportunity of working with HNIs for the past almost 7 months now, thereabout. I've had the opportunity of working with HNIs. HNIs are high net worth individuals. And many of them have gotten to the peak of success in their career. They've even retired. Some of them have retired. There was one of them we worked with very, very recently. And during the interview, when we're interviewing him, we asked him a question. And we said, what is your biggest regret? I mean, you've gotten to the pinnacle of success in your career. You've done it all. You've seen it all. You've made it all. What is your biggest regret? Guess what he says? He says, I wish. He says, I wish I did not make money at the expense of a connection with my children. So now I have children who know my money, but they do not know me. And I do not know them. So now he's trying to correct the mistake by making sure that he's close to his grandchildren. It's interesting. So I hope I have answered your question. I hope I have answered your question. Make sure that you build your community from a place of clarity on how you're trying to help people. And let that be the driving force, how you're trying to help people. Internet Business School is trying to help internet business owners who are looking to level up, right? People who are not getting enough results in their business, people who want to scale, people who are just getting started and they're looking for direction. They don't know where they can learn. It creates an enabling environment where they can learn the things they need to build an internet business from scratch. So when they come here, they will get that help no matter what. And they don't need to pay me anything. Interesting stuff, right? Okay, so this is where we wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys so much. If you want to show gratitude for this, the only thing I need you to do is to share the link to this channel. That's all. Just share t.me/Internet Business School. Go and post something. Tell them this is what happened to my life today. I got so much value here. This is where you can get your own. Go and even watch the replay. The replay is going to be posted here on the channel and it's going to be available infinitely. I'm not going to delete it though. It's going to stay here. So go and share with your friends. Let them come. We need this community to become big and become a household name, especially in the African sector of the internet business space. So let's do our own part to spread the word. Okay. Have a great night, everyone. And I'll see you next weekend, Saturday by 8 p.m. West African time.